Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I said I would do a video about how to fix your credit, and I meant it. And yes, take notes because you're gonna need this and it does work. So let's begin. Now, what is good and bad credit? Good credit or excellent credit is 720 points or above. You know credit goes over 800. 680 to 719 is considered good credit. 620 to 679 is considered fair credit. 580 and 6 to 619 is considered poor credit, and 579 and lower is considered bad credit. At that point, they wouldn't even look at you. I know that when you're purchasing a home, if you have 620, if you don't have at least 620, you can't get a home. If you're purchasing a car, you want good, you want a good interest rate. If you're like at 550, 560, 570, your interest is gonna be like 15%. I had that years ago, and my interest rate for the car was like 15%. And the car I bought broke down a year and a half after I bought it, and it was a 5-year loan. I had to pay that off, and it was literally parked doing nothing. So you wanna make sure your credit is good if you wanna do something with your life, if you really wanna be able to get stuff. Now, step one, I advise you to get your free credit report off of the 3 credit bureaus. They're Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. You need all 3 because you want to make sure the information's match, and those that don't make sense or those that you don't recognize, highlight it because it matters. You're going to need that later, so pay attention. Some of you may also need to find out what your FICO score is. Now, the FICO score is calculated as follows. 30% of the score is attributed to your credit utilization ratio, which is the amount that you owe. 10% is the new credit account that you have and is good for 24 months. 15% is the length of credit history, like what's the longest credit you have on there? Are you new? Do you have like at least 7 to 8 years that proves that you actually do have good credit? Things like that. 35% is payment history, and that's the one that weighs the most. Payment history meaning, do you pay your bills, and if so, do you pay on time? Or are you backdated? So that matters. That weighs the most to make sure that they're going to get their money back. TransUnion and Equifax score calculation is kind of the same, but it does have a little difference. Payment history, of course, is the same, high impact. Your credit card usage is the high impact. So it's not just your credit history that matters. Credit cards are looked at specifically because a lot of people don't pay for their credit card debt. They have credit cards and then they just rack it up and they don't pay it, or they just have it maxed out and they just pay the minimum and it just stays that way. So it weighs a lot. Any derogatory remarks that you have, do you have collections, do you have repossessions? All those are considered derogatory remarks, and it also has a high impact. Credit usage is a medium impact as far as like the length of time you've had it. And then total open accounts that you have. I know that the more accounts you have open, the better score you have. So if you have credit cards that you already paid off, or things that you already paid off that doesn't have to close, it's best for you to keep it open to add up to the years that you've shown that you can handle yourself responsibly, and also to show that you're able to control yourself and not just blow up all this money and have it there. And it also shows that you have time in. You put in some time, you put in the work. So that matters. Step 2, find out which accounts are negative or which ones have high balances. Check for any late payments. They can also affect your score for 36 months. So if you look on your score, your credit report, and you have a payment that you made that's been on your account as a late payment for more than 36 months, you need to go ahead and start and circle it, because you're going to need to fight that. It is not supposed to be on your credit for more than 36 months, which means that score is that late payment is still affecting you. Late payments can drop your score between 60 to 110 points if they're still on it. So the more you get rid of it, as time passes by, your score will go up. You can also contact the original company, like the car loan company, etc., and ask them to remove the late payment, not just from the credit bureau. And a lot of times they'll do it. Now, if they say no, you can fight on all 3 reports, say no, they need to remove it. You don't need to have this there, or you can get those bastards to, to basically do what you want them to do by calling that company and saying, this is wrong, it's illegal, you're not supposed to be having this stuff here, it's been 36 months, you can't just keep penalizing me, you got your 3 years, now get this off. Make sure that your personal information, like your name, address, and your employer, are correct on the report, because if they have the wrong address, the wrong name, then maybe they're pulling information from a record that doesn't even belong to you, and you're taking it and not even knowing why. So that's very important. Step 3, pay off your credit card balances. Now, how do you do that? You need to keep the debt amount utilization at 30% or less. So if you have a credit card that has a limit of $1,000, to keep your score good, you need to show that you don't use more than $300 out of that $1,000. Try your best to keep it at that amount or less. Now, what you don't want to do is show that you've now used $1,000 plus when you only have $1,000 balance. That's even worse. It's going to drop drastically. And you don't want to stay too close to 100% usage, because it shows that you don't know how to pay off your bills in time. Okay, now this bracket impacts your score 30% as well. Only your payment history has a bigger impact than that. The best case scenario is to pay it down to 0. You can also negotiate your interest rate and reduce the amount of credit you owe. What do I mean by that? There's some credit cards that will have your interest at 29%, 35%. So let's say that you have a credit balance of like $12,000 and your credit interest rate is 29%. You could be putting $250 into that thing every single month, which is a lot of money, but the interest rate is making them take $192 and hold it for their interest. Y'all had a call. They're supposed to take their interest first from you before they actually apply that money to your balance. So you want to negotiate your interest rate as low as possible. That way you can pay it off faster. So if it's lower, like maybe 10%, then if you put $250 in there, you at least have close to maybe $200 or going towards the principal, so you pay that off faster. And in the long run, you don't have this huge amount on your credit report. That's very important. Every time that you do have to pay, make sure that you pay more than what the minimum is. If your payment this month is $65, it doesn't hurt to put $80 in there, because like I said, your interest rate you're paying is based on your principal. So if they take that amount that you owe for the interest, whatever's left over goes into the balance, and it reduces what they're going to charge you next month. So it's best for you to put a little bit more each time to get it down a little bit faster as well. Don't close the account when you do pay it off. Don't do it. Maybe you spend $5 here and there just to keep it active. But like I said, the amount of time you've had good credit or credit matters. If you close that account, it won't matter anymore. It won't affect your score. It will just be closed. And it does affect you in a negative way, because what if you don't have anything else to work with? What are they going to see? What are car companies? What are mortgage companies? What are rental properties going to see to show that you can pay your bill? So you don't want to close the account. Step 4, contact collection agencies if you have accounts in collections. Meaning request that you have a pay for delete. Meaning if I pay it, you need to take this off. You need to get that in writing as well. If they say, no, if you pay it, we don't have to take it off, then they can just lose their money. You can just say, screw it, not get none from me. But make sure that that's the stipulation. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Step 5, dispute all negative items on your report, including all the inquiries that all these credit bureaus make with or without your consent. There's sometimes when you be online and you're considering getting something. You might be buying a computer, you might be buying a television. You click that you're interested in getting credit for it, but you didn't actually want them to go ahead and process the application. There could be inquiries in your credit history, and any inquiries whatsoever can reduce your score about 2 to 5 points. And you don't want that to stay there, because you don't want that to stay there if you didn't ask for it. You didn't ask for it, so you don't want me to do it. On top of that, you also don't want it to stay there too long. Hard inquiries lower your score a great deal. And they're not supposed to stay on your account more than 2 years. So if you have all these inquiries that are racking up and they've been on there for 4 years, 5 years, and they're lowering your score, they're not supposed to be there. You can dispute that and tell them to remove all that, because it's affecting your score. Now I'm also going to provide you with information on credit bureaus, listed down the information where you can go ahead and contact them if you want to do it on paper to get all this stuff done. Step 6, these are the takeaways that you need to know. Pay bills on time. Dispute all inquiries older than 12 months. Dispute all late payments older than 36 months and some current ones. Settle all collection debt. Pay down credit card balances. And step 6 basically says that if you're trying to buy a house or a car and your credit is pulled up multiple times in 14 days, it will only count as 1 inquiry. So make sure that in this step, when you do want to buy a house, when you do want to buy a car, when you do want to buy something, try and get all the inquiries or all the companies that you want in a short window, because then it won't be like multiples. Because if you do it, 14 days go by, you do another company, 14, you do another, all 3 of them will show up. If you do only like the 3 companies within that 14 days, they only count 1 time. So better to have your score drop maybe 2 points, 3 points, 4 points than have multiples, because that adds up. So pay attention to that. Don't just say, okay, this person just ran my credit, it's going to drop my score, let me wait another month to do it. So step 6, make sure you're paying attention to who's actually running your report and how frequently they're running your report. That also matters. Try all these tools that I gave you. You'll see changes in your report. Get all the collections off of it. Get all the negative accounts disputed. Make sure you don't have any late payments on there that are not supposed to be on there. Make sure you don't have any inquiries on there that are supposed to be on there. Call all these companies that you owe bills to, especially credit card companies. Make sure your interest rate is reasonable. It shouldn't be more than 15%. That's just crazy, and they're stealing your money. That way you can pay it off. Come up with something, some deal to get this off your record so you can be able to enjoy your life. Otherwise, you're screwed. Anyway, like and subscribe. Please comment below. Let me know what it is you might want me to answer. And you guys have a good day.